It's time for a movie review anniversary. I will be covering on Pee Wee Herman in his first movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It turned 40 years old this year. I have mentioned this movie once before in this video, and indeed, I did watch this movie on TV as a kid. So, in honor of its 40th anniversary and the loss to Paul Reubens back in 2023, I will be covering Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The film centers on Pee-wee.
Well, duh.
Is falling over his prized possession, his bike. But then it gets stolen, so now Pee-wee goes on a road trip to try and get it back, and naturally stumbles across all sorts of strange characters along the way. Before I get to the movie, I should talk about the history of Pee Wee Herman. Paul Reubens began joining the improv comedy group called the Groundlings in the late 70s. Then he did a stage show called the Pee Wee Herman Show in the 1980s. His fame was starting to catch on during that decade. And this is where Pee-wee got his first movie. The director of this movie was Tim Burton, which before he did a few shorts. But this is his first directing feature film. Yeah, I did not know that this was his first film to direct. And I will say, this is a very wise choice. Alright, what do I think of Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie? Oh, it's great. In fact, I actually watched this movie as a kid. Yeah, I watched it a couple times when it was on TV. And after 40 years, it changed a little bit. It's gotten more weird, but I love it. Where do I even begin with? It has a lot of surreal imagery, which as a kid, this was actually pretty creepy. I wasn't even scared one bit. Yes, that imagery of large Mars transformation is probably the most scariest moment in the movie, but I wasn't even crying at that scene. It just jumped out at me. The rest do scream Tim Burton like those clown surgeons, and as an adult, I do love the imagery. Besides that, it does have that whimsical, out of left field Pee-wee humor, and the story does that whole big kid in the real world. But I will admit, the charm comes from the rest of the world being odd too. Pee-wee, not only how a child would act, but how a child sees the world. I don't know why. This movie screams big adventure, going on a road trip to find a bike. I just like the silly moments like doing a dorky dance with the biker gangs, coming across a strange lady that probably was a ghost, visiting the Alamo, etc. I even like scenes that you have no idea who or what is going to pop up next. Like this guy going to attack Pee-wee. I don't know what to say about that or the comedy. It's just the right amount of odd. The one part of the movie I did like as a kid was Pee-wee get his bike back, and that whole chase montage is fantastic. After he escapes, Pee-wee saves the animals at a pet shop store while on fire. He did save the snakes, but he fainted. The ending does have a great way to have his story to adapt into a movie based off of Pee-wee's adventure, but in James Bond style. Pee-wee has a cameo role as a bellhop, though his voice has been dubbed. Don't know if that was Paul Reubens doing that voice, but man, that's intriguingly random. Let's talk about the music score. Of course, if it's a Tim Burton movie, it's Danny Elfman that does the score. I love that music during the breakfast machine in his house, and even the surreal imagery scenes. As for the characters, well, they're all good. Pee-wee's still Pee-wee, Francis, Dottie, Mickey, Simone, and even a bunch of side characters. But yeah, this movie has gotten better and has gotten a cult following ever since. After the movie got released and becoming a success, they would make a show called Pee-wee's Playhouse, in which I did actually watch a few episodes when Cartoon Network aired it. Pee-wee would later get 2 films. Big Top Pee-wee came out 3 years after Big Adventure, which sadly wasn't good. And Big Holiday was a nice comeback to Pee-wee after a long absence, which you can watch on Netflix. And sadly, that was his final time playing Pee-wee because he passed away in 2023, which I did attribute to him. But yeah, it is sad to see him gone, and remembering the character he played. Thankfully, HBO Max released a 2-part documentary this year called Pee-wee as Himself, in which I'll try to check that out. But back to the movie. Pee-wee's Big Adventure is one of those movies that I will always remember for how strange and silly it is. I really admire this movie that I grew a lot after 40 years. I know it's not as big as, like, say, Back to the Future, or Goonies, or Breakfast Club, because they got way more attention all these years. This one is close too, but they did get a following. Liked it as a kid, but like it more now as an adult. I describe it as silly, but enjoyable, one-of-a-kind classic. That is all for this video. Happy 40th anniversary. I think I have the next video coming up. I'll see you all later this month. Bye bye!